You guys can probably relate, but have you ever felt like your SP is getting closer and closer, and then suddenly at one moment, whilst manifesting them, they start to pull away? This isn't random, and it's not you being rejected by your SP either. Today, we're going to talk about why this happens, how you can actually flip this all around back in your favor, so how to handle this and what it all means. Hey guys, welcome to another video. It's been a while if you're a regular viewer and subscriber. I took a little break from filming, but we are back now today talking about why your SP may be pulling away from you, how to handle it, how to actually frame this with your thoughts and the assumptions to take from it to help you manifest them faster, more powerfully. So I'm getting into all of this, giving lots of different perspectives and advice, so stay tuned to hear that. I'd very much appreciate anyone who enjoys my videos or is watching this video maybe for the first time. You find it useful and you enjoy it, then do click that subscribe button as you're watching if you would like to support the channel. It'll be a lot easier for you to find my videos as well if you do so from your subscriptions box. And yeah, now without further ado, and everything else popped on screen for anyone who's interested in coaching, getting bonus content, exclusive videos, everything is on screen on how to get extra support and help and content. Everything is also in the description box, so let's jump into the content now. When you hold on to or feed into this kind of repetitive spiral of feeling needy, a sense of lack, trying to hold on to and control everything that's going on, and come from this state of desperation and, like I just said, lack, your SP feels that energy subconsciously, emotionally, mentally. They just connect to it. It's kind of like thought transmission and this connection that you have with them. Even if you don't know your SP, there's going to be an impact because you're creating an assumption in your own mind, in your reality, about them, about how they feel, how they behave. You're focusing on this idea of them that does come from this negative lack of them pulling away, or chances are you do actually know your SP if they're pulling away, but something where you're just not getting the behavior and response that you want. They do respond subconsciously to where your focus goes. So if you keep focusing on, or you catastrophize, or you don't work through and move past them pulling away, or a certain action or conversation that doesn't go well, you're feeding into that, you're focusing on that, and they are taking in that energy subconsciously without realizing. They're reflecting back to you where your own assumption is. So it's stemming from this internal push and pull, hot and cold, up and down, whatever phrase you want to use. That's what's going on. You might be persisting and putting in the effort and applying repetition, but it also depends on how much. If you're also then wavering, falling back into old patterns, or questioning what your SP is doing because, they aren't conforming or showing the conforming the way you would like to see it, then you're holding on to that. You're putting energy into equally the positive movement, but then saying, well, look at this old pattern, or look at this new negative behavior that's showing up. What is going on? If you analyze it, panic, if you start to put your focus into that and really put your energy into this negative 3D rubbish, then you're unfortunately going to create this push and pull effect, because you're telling your mind, SP and I are together, SP and I are together, SP and I are together, and then at the same time, SP said this negative thing, SP pulled away, SP's being cold to me. You're creating this kind of confusion in your own mind, so it's slowing down the positive movement that is happening. So remember that if you hold on to subconscious doubt, and I'm not saying, you have to analyze and get to the root of everything, but it is subconscious doubt because you're mentally reacting to, allowing yourself to have this pattern of reacting to your SP pulling away, trying to analyze it. You keep reaffirming it to yourself, even though you're trying to find a solution. If you keep focusing on this idea of this is SP's behavior and actions in the 3D, reacting to all of it and not applying your mental diet and being able to move on to it, it gets held on to as a subconscious doubt. It feeds into negative assumptions. And that's what your 3D has to reflect back to you, which is your SP's feelings and behavior. And, if you say to yourself, they're pulling away, they're not being loving, I don't think they have feelings, that's what you're, without realizing and unconsciously, affirming. You want to make the distinction and recognize if your behavior falls into either this idea of lack and trying to get them, trying to create a relationship, trying to change from the current negative, versus already thinking, I'm becoming the version who's with them. They are becoming the version who's perfect in this relationship, who is this amazing, positive, happy, committed version, open, secure, loving, just that perfect ideal version where the relationship is smooth and perfect for both, in both of your favors, then, are you being that version? Are you focusing and imagining yourself and thinking to yourself as if you're already that version? You already have that relationship? Or are you still in the state of lack, trying to let go of or analyze the negative? There's a distinction between lack and trying to, and reaffirming there's all these negative things I'm trying to change, versus nope, they're already the version I want. I'm going to keep repeating this positive thought, feeding into this positive assumption. There is a distinction, so you want to make sure you're not feeding into the former. There's also psychological patterns that feed into this. So it's, I guess, not entirely, but it's similar to the fight or flight, where if, as humans in our minds, when we sense pressure or a sense of, trying to force something and control something and apply pressure to a relationship, you pull away. It's a sense of withdrawal. Like if someone's trying to force an outcome, control things, or put pressure on a situation, you want to withdraw. So that's just psychologically how we're wired. And it's not necessarily personal, or again, don't feed into this assumption that your SP doesn't like you, doesn't want you. It's just this pattern that naturally comes up. So you want to kind of, withdraw, but you want to kind of distance yourself from those negative patterns of 3D control, 3D action, trying to force, come from a place of needing validation and reassurance, not trusting, not being confident, having this sense of neediness and a state of lack. If you come from that energy, if you speak to your SP from that energy, you're not going to get the reaction that you want. So remember, it comes from internally. The main focus and goal is to become the version who already assumes and feels confident about being chosen. You don't need to fully believe it. You don't need to feel that, obviously. You're not in the end result just yet. It's completely fine to not believe it, but you want to think that way. Imagine, visualize, act as if. Just think to yourself as if you are the version who's already chosen by SP, who's already perfectly with SP. That you have this connection that you want. You're already feeling confident and reassured. You have to start at least to get into that state and think that way in order for it to come in physically. So really reframe it. When you do see that push and pull effect, when your SP is pulling away, maybe being a little cold, not reflecting exactly what you want, remind yourself and frame it as, well, that's just proof that the old story is being replaced. It is a push and pull effect. It is hot and cold. And there's the hot, there's the positive, there's the good, and that's kind of coming up because I am replacing the negative thoughts. I am replacing those old assumptions, the old story, the old version of our connection and relationship. It's being replaced by the new story. That's what's forming and overriding this. And this is just being shown to me and becoming more prominent and prevalent in my reality, in my reactions, because I'm noticing, the old story is coming up. The cold is coming in because those were my thoughts wavering. I'm not going to do that anymore. The old story is getting replaced and it's just coming to the surface. So try and completely reframe it because it's not worth spiraling over. And again, maintaining that confident, balanced mindset where things don't constantly make you spiral or panic. Reaffirming, it's already mine. This relationship is perfect. I know it's going to be mine. I trust in it. I have faith. Don't panic. Don't react to, every little negative thing, or even if it's a pattern with SP, try to distance yourself from that and just reaffirm the version that you do want. Something that gives me a lot of reassurance and support is to remember that we are co-creating. Not only does everything already exist, so for me personally, it's also tying into religious faith, but you can call, the higher power that you personally believe in if you don't believe in God, source, universe, there's all these different terms that people use. For me, I also put my faith in God, co-creating the relationship that I want. That would be the way I would frame it. And, remembering that everything has already been created. There is a higher power. Your ideal relationship does exist and everything is going to work out in your favor. So I like to also tie my faith into that. And knowing that everything has meaning, everything is going to come together for my highest good. So remember that everything already exists, the relationship you want is in existence, and it is even being brought to you. So just trusting that what's meant for you, one of my favorite quotes, won't pass you by, but it can't be lost if that's what's meant to happen, if that's for your highest good, your goal and the vision you've just held in your mind, and that this is the perfect relationship, this is what you want, this is what you deserve, and you can already envision it with your SP. If it's for your highest good, nothing on earth could ever stop that. And even beyond that, a higher power is watching over you, and putting your faith in manifestation and something bigger than yourself, just knowing all of it is coming together for your own highest good. That is also a really great form of like reassurance and comfort. And then specifically, obviously in manifesting terms, every time you do feel that fear, reaffirm that everything is working out. You have the relationship. Shift your focus from that old story, reaffirming the negative circumstances, into reminding yourself of the new version. It does exist. It is yours. And also, of course, remembering that when your SP is pulling away, it's temporary. It's not final. It's a temporary hurdle, temporary slowdown, or just a reflection of the old story that's filtering out. And you're applying the repetition and consistency. So just remember, even if it might look negative right now, it's temporary. It's just a reflection of the old version. Don't hold on to that as something factual or objective. So keep applying repetition, because that is what rewires your subconscious mind and beliefs, and therefore reflecting it back into your external circumstances, into your relationship with SP. You can't force that outcome to happen. It does all come together naturally, which is why I personally like to tie it into, my belief in God, that everything comes together perfectly as it's meant to, just trusting that everything will come together for my highest good, putting my faith in something outside of myself. But overall, the best, mantra and assumptions to have is that everything comes together naturally in its own way. You can't force it. It will be perfect and better than you can imagine. You just need to hold on to that end result in your mind. So when you mentally strengthen your connection and your internal story, the inner conversations that you have about your SP, when you strengthen that, when you keep reaffirming the positive news story, you hold on to that in your mind, the 3D has no choice but to conform. You cannot experience the life that you want without having those thoughts already connected to that. Or likewise, your 3D can't be negative if you focus on the version you want. If you think positively, you cannot have your relationship continue to reflect a negative outcome. It will shift in your favor. You just need to stay steady with that in your own mindset, in your own thoughts. Apply the repetition, apply the consistency, because it is coming together to bring you exactly what you want, and probably even better. So just be open to that. And yeah, I think I'm going to leave this video here. I think I put in a lot of different type of, reassurances and reframing, your mindset about your relationship and your SP. So if you did enjoy this video, please do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I will see you guys next time.